Welcome to Sairam Educational Channel, Class 10th CBSE and CRT, Chapter 4 Carbon and its Compounds. In this Class 10, we specially learning about carbon and its compounds. Why do we have to learn carbon and its compounds, and why we have a separate lesson for one particular element that is called carbon? As you know, carbon is the element which exists in several compounds around us. The day to day life, what we are using, everything mostly made up of carbon. Even human body full of carbon. Even the gas, what we have, inhale, exhale, containing carbon dioxide. The things, what we use in day to day life, even with the clothes, which contains carbon and carbon compound. The plastics, the polymers, the nylon. So there are different, even the wood is full of carbon. So there are different carbons. So the full universe is full of carbon and its different compounds. So that's why we need to learn about carbon and its chemistry. Generally, in higher class, if you go, the carbon chemistry is called even organic chemistry, where you will be learning about carbon and its compounds of different variety of compounds. So the food, what we take, the clothes, the medicines, the books, many of things which all having carbon in their compounds as an element. Why this carbon is having such a versatile behavior, having lot of carbon. But if you can compare the Earth's crust has only 0.02% of carbon in the form of minerals like carbonates, hydrogen carbonates, coal, petroleum, and the atmosphere that the air surrounding us is having only 0.03% of carbon dioxide. If you compare when compared to the other elements, the amount of carbon present is very less. If you can take earth crust, it is very minute amount. Even in the atmosphere, very minute amount. But carbon having lot of compounds, it has more importance in the nature. So in this particular chapter, we will be learning about carbon and its compounds. In order to see that, first any compound to form, as you all know that, the bonding is the important. What type of bonds it forms? That means carbon loves to form bonds with different atoms, different elements, and in its own element. That's why it is having more number of compounds. Why it should have that? Why the carbon is special to have such bonding capacity with different elements and its own. So that we will try to see in this one. And we know that ionic compounds, which will ionize when you put in some solvent, maybe mostly aqueous solvent like water, they have high melting and boiling points, like sodium chloride. That melting point is around 803 degrees centigrade. Boiling point is still higher. And when I put in water, it conducts electricity, that is ionic conduction. Or even in molten state, if I take around 803 degrees centigrade, the sodium chloride becomes liquid. There it conducts electricity. So the nature of ionic bonding, you know that one atom loses the electrons, other atom gains the electrons, becomes one positive charge, another becomes negative charge. Correct? So by this way, it will be having bonding. Similarly, that is the ionic compounds. So they will be attracted between positive and negative ions. Both positive ion which loses the electron becomes the positive ion, which gains the electron becomes the negative ion. Together they have electrostatic attraction that tells about the ionic bonding. Like sodium chloride, sodium is having 11 electrons, so it is ready to lose that one electron, then it gets 10 electrons, it is neon configuration, it is noble gas. So sodium gets stability by losing that electron. So it is Na plus. Similarly, chlorine having 18, 17 electrons, it gains one electron, becomes 18 electrons. That is the configuration of argon. It is once again noble, stable. That's why chlorine try to get one electron. So sodium loses one electron, chlorine gets one electron, sodium becomes sodium plus, and chloride becomes chloride minus ion, such that both will have electrostatic attraction and have the sodium chloride bond, that is ionic bond. So most carbon compounds are not good conductors. Remember, they are all very poor conductors of electricity. That means they does not have like ionic bond much. If you can see here, the compounds, like all these are carbon compounds. You have methane, you have ethanol, this is the alcohol, you have chloroform, okay, alkyl halide, and you have acetic acid, carboxylic acid. If you can see the melting points and boiling points in Kelvin, they are all higher. Not much higher than your sodium chloride. When compared to ionic compounds, these are all lesser. You see, I told sodium chloride is around 803 degrees centigrade, but here you can see no one is having more than 400 degrees. Even boiling point itself around 400. Other melting points are very less even, 300, 209, 156, 90, very less. So the boiling and melting points of the carbon compounds are lesser when compared to the ionic compounds. That means from this we can able to, what is the melting point tells us. Melting point is the temperature at which, in a simple words, if you can say, solid converts to liquid. How the solid will convert solid? Where the particles or respective molecules are nearer to each other. Now you have to give energy such that they will be far away each other, then it becomes a liquid. In order to far away each other, you need to give heat. How much heat you are giving, that is the melting point. If you need to give more heat, then the melting point is higher. If you need to give the less heat, the melting point is less. That means when you need to give more heat, if they have strong interactions between the molecules. So if they have strong interactions between the molecules, the melting points are higher, obviously. But here the melting points are lesser. That means the interactive forces between the molecules of the respective compounds, like acetic acid, two acetic acid molecules, is lesser. That's why the melting points are lesser here. That means here we can conclude that the forces of attraction between the molecules are not very strong. Since these compounds are largely non-conductors of electricity, we can conclude that the bonding in this compound does not give rise to any ions. We have seen previously ionic compounds where they conduct electricity and their melting boiling points are higher, but both are not happening in this, sorry, carbon compounds. That's why they are not good conductors of electricity. They don't have high melting and boiling points. So we can conclude in such a way that the bonding in these compounds are not ionic. Okay, and we also learned in previous classes that the bonding depends upon what? Number of electrons in the outermost shell of the particular atom, that is the valence shell. So the bonding between elements of various elements depends upon the its valency electron, that is the outermost shell electrons. So now we will see what is the electronic configuration of carbon. Carbon, as you know, atomic number is 6. The electronic configuration can be written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 2. Correct? So total is we should have 6 electrons. 1s2 is 2 electrons, 2s2, 2p2 is 4 electrons. Total is 6 electrons. So if it is like that, so in the outermost shell now I have 4 electrons for the carbon. So it requires 4 more electrons to, I will show you here. Uh, You see the carbon, it is having 6 atomic number. So electron configuration is 1s2 and 2s2 and 2p4. 2p, sorry, 2p2. 2p2. Totally 6 electrons, correct? Okay. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So this is one particular cell, K shell, and this is L shell. This is the outermost shell. Outermost shell, how many electrons are there? 4 electrons. These 4 electrons only will participate in bonding. Clear? So that's why they are called as valence electrons. These 4 electrons, the outermost shell gets octet of electrons, 8 electrons, then the molecule, whatever it forms, the bonds will be stable. So carbon gets stability when if it gets 4 more electrons, if it gets 4 more electrons. If I give 4 more electrons, 4 plus these 4, total 8 electrons. 8 electrons in its outermost shell is a stable configuration as per octet of rule. And 8 plus 2, total 10. Clear? So it gets the neon configuration, so it is stable. So now the carbon requires 4 more electrons. That means it can form 4 bonds with 4 different atoms. Each can give 1 electron to the carbon, or each can share 1 electron with the carbon. Then it can form 4 bonds. Clear? So the valence of the carbon is the number of electrons it required or number of electrons present in the outermost shell. Here we have 4 electrons, so the valence is 4. That is, carbon is tetravalency. Carbon is tetravalency. So the carbon is having a tetravalency. That means it could gain 4 electrons for any compound. But if it fully gains those 4 electrons, then it becomes what? C4 minus anion. C4 minus anion. That means it can fully takes the 4 electrons from other atoms like sodium. If it wants to give, it can take it. But it would be difficult for the nucleus. What will happen? If it gains that 4 electrons, this carbon gains 4 more electrons. There is a nucleus. We told any atom is containing the nucleus where you have positive charge, protons, and surrounding that you have these electrons rotates like this. Now these electrons are how many previously in the carbon? 2, 2, 2. Total 6 electrons. Very good. Inside should have now 6 protons only. The total charge inside is 6 plus, outside is 6 minus. It is a balance. The nucleus can hold these 6 electrons easily. But for example, in order to fulfill its octet of electrons, carbon, if it takes the 4 electrons, then the outside electrons will be 10 electrons now. And carbon becomes C4 minus because it got 4 electrons additional. So the C4 anion minus anion is unstable. Why it is unstable? Because it cannot hold those 10 electrons. The nucleus is not sorry, the nucleus is not capable to hold those 4 more electrons because the nucleus is having only 6 protons and outside you have 10 electrons, more negative charge than the positive charge. So the holding capacity will be lost. So it would be difficult for the nucleus with 6 protons to hold on to 10 electrons. That's why C4 minus anion is impossible. Then another option also can be possible. If the carbon loses these 4 electrons also, then what will happen? It becomes 1s2. 1s2 is helium configuration, still it is stable. Correct? So the carbon can do both ways to get stability. One is by losing 4 electrons, another is by gaining 4 electrons. If it gains 4 electrons, we told what is the problem. C4 minus ion it forms, so 4 more electrons are in the outer shell of the electrons, outer shells, and inside you have only proton 6, though proton 6 cannot hold those 4 more electrons. That's why it is not possible. Next is if it loses the 4 electrons. Then if it loses the 4 electron, carbon becomes 4 plus because it lost those 4 electrons. 4 electrons has gone. So now I have 4 plus cation. it could lose 4 electrons forming C4 plus cation. But it would require a large amount of energy to remove 4 electrons. Why it is required? You see, these 6 electrons of the carbon which are outside the nucleus are withheld by this attractive force from the nucleus, because I have 6 protons are holding these 4 electrons. So removing this, that is the ionization energy, the energy required to remove this is ionization. The ionization energy very high. Even one first electron, if you want to remove, that is first ionization energy. The next is second, third, fourth. The once the electrons you are removing, the electrons are nearer to the nucleus. The last electron is far away, next is nearer, next is nearer, next is nearer. So removal of these 4 electrons would require a huge amount of energy, and it makes the carbon unstable also. So that's why it would require a large amount of energy to remove 4 electrons, leaving behind a carbon cation with 6 protons in its nucleus holding on to just 2 electrons. You see, still you have 6 protons and they are just holding 2 electrons. It is very, very impossible because 6 protons are there, so their attractive force is more. They are holding those electrons very strongly, so that's why this C4 plus also impossible. So then what should do the carbon? So carbon cannot form ionic compounds like this. If carbon gains 4 electrons, it becomes ion, so it is ionic compound. If it loses 4 electrons also, it becomes ion, so it can be ionic compound. But carbon, these two options are ruled out. So what should it do? Then carbon can overcome this problem by just sharing its valence electron. Instead of taking fully or giving fully the electrons to other atom, so it just shares its valence electrons with other atoms of carbon or with atoms of other elements. Not just carbon, but many other elements form molecules by sharing of electrons. The shared electrons, what will happen if it shares the electron? If you can see here, if it shares the electrons, what will happen? The sharing electrons will be property of both. So for example, if I take carbon here, carbon, it is having 4 electrons. Now for example, I have hydrogen, one hydrogen having 1 electron. So this carbon, what it will do? Like that, 4 hydrogen atoms can come, each one having one electron. For example, another hydrogen having another 1 electron, and another hydrogen having one more electron. So like this, carbon is having 4 electrons in its outermost shell. Generally, we represent only outermost electrons because they are the valence electrons. They only would participate in the reactions, remember. That's why carbon we have written 4 outermost electrons. So this electron it will not lose. We already spoke, and it will not gain all 4 electrons from the different atoms. So it is now preferring to share those electrons with the other atoms such that to satisfy its octet of electrons and get stability. So now hydrogen having 1 electron, carbon is having this electron. Both electrons will form one bond, and these both electrons will be shared between hydrogen. Now hydrogen, these 2 electrons becomes hydrogen. At the same time, they also become to the carbon. Carbon also takes those 2 electrons. That means these pair of electrons now forms a bond, and those paired electrons is the property of carbon and the property of hydrogen. That means these 2 electrons are shared by hydrogen and carbon. This shared pair of electrons, the bond is called as covalent bond. It is called as covalent bond. C-O-V-A-L-E-N-T. Covalent bond. So such a way it can able to make attain its noble gas configuration and gets stability. So sharing of valency electrons it can do. So how much maximum electrons it can share? Total we have seen here, carbon can share maximum 4 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why carbon valency is 4 now. So this is the simplest way we have read this. And you see hydrogen. If I take hydrogen, for example, what will happen? One hydrogen having 1 electron, another hydrogen atom can have another electron, one more electron. So H2 molecule forms because these two pair of electrons represents correspond to that hydrogen, and also these two pair of electrons correspond to this. You see, this is one electron of this hydrogen, this electron into represents the electron of this hydrogen. But these pair of electrons are now shared by this hydrogen, this side, such that this hydrogen is having two electrons, so it finishes noble gas configuration of helium, so it is get stability. This hydrogen also having two electrons equivalent to helium gas configuration, so it also gets stability. Because of that, H2 molecule is forming, hydrogen gas is formed. So it is what bond now? Covalent bond. They are combined by sharing of electrons called covalent bond. So this way the hydrogen attaining its noble gas configuration as shown here. You can see hydrogen atoms, and both are shared these two electrons, and it gets the configuration of nearest noble gas helium. And the shell, that is the K shell, only two electrons it can have, it is fulfilled such that it is stable now. So the shared pair of electrons is said to constitute a single covalent bond. This bond is called a single covalent bond. Two electrons makes one bond, so it is a covalent bond, so it is single covalent bond. So covalent bond forms because of shared pair of electrons, so this is the way we can have. So hydrogen atom can form like this: HH, a molecule of hydrogen, a molecule of HH, single bond between two hydrogens. If you can go similarly, here you can see the oxygen. Oxygen atomic number is 8, correct? 2 and 6, outermost electrons it is having 6. So it requires 2 more electrons to gain 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So you see 6 electrons was represented. This is oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons are here. We have shown. So these 6 electrons, and another oxygen is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 electrons. So this way, what is happening? 2 electrons of this oxygen, 2 electrons of this oxygen now shared between these two oxygen. Now you see any circle, for example, this circle of correspond to this oxygen, now I have 8 electrons in it. And this circle correspond to this oxygen, and it is having 8 electrons. So now how many bonds it forms? 4 electrons are shared, so 2 bonds are forming. So it is called double bond. That is the way O2 molecule is formed. Similarly, N2 will have nitrogen, 7 electrons, correct? It requires 3 more electrons. So outermost it is having 5 electrons. Okay, outermost it is having 5 electrons. Nitrogen will have in its outermost 5 electrons. How it is having 5 electrons? We will see here. You see nitrogen, if you can take nitrogen, it is atomic number 7. So 1s2 is the innermost shell, that is K shell. Then you have 5 more, 2s2, 2p, 3. So these are the 5 electrons. How many we require? Some 3 more is required for its octet to finish. So those 5 electron, nitrogen 2 electrons and 3 electrons. Here nitrogen 2 and 3. Total, now these 3 pairs of electrons will be shared by this nitrogen, at the same time shared by this nitrogen. Such that what happened now? 3 pairs are there, so 3 bonds will form. That is called triple bond, that is called the triple bond. Similarly, carbon HCH4, already we discussed the same compound. It is, you see, the carbon have 4 hydrogens, it can form 4 bonds. Carbon electron is here represented is into. So just to make sure that each electron corresponds to 1, we are representing with different symbols. So here you can see hydrogen required only 2 electrons, so it is having 2 electrons. One is carbon electron, one is its electron. So this is the way it forms 4 different bonds, single bonds. So since electrons are shared between atoms and no charged particles are formed, clear? There is no charged particle because this hydrogen is not lost its electron, and the carbon also not lost its electron. So there is no charge generates on the respective atoms. So that's why these are not ionic compounds, they are all covalent compounds. Okay, with this we will stop today's class, and in the next we will learn some more concepts. Okay, thank you.